Happy Friday and welcome to the hottest show in Plano, Texas, MissInformed with yours truly, Missy Lou. Howdy ho, howdy hey. Happy Friday, y'all. We finally made it through the week. It was a little rainy, but we got sunshine in the studio. I am so happy to talk about our guest. You know, summer's coming, the heat's going up, but you know what also is going up? What is also going up? Property taxes. And I've got somebody here that knows how to contest those property taxes and can help you. Yeah, I've got that guy in the studio today. And maybe you're somebody who's looking for a rental and you want to, see what's out there. Or maybe you're going from rent to own and you need to understand the process. I got somebody to help you with that too. Maybe you just need a lot of money. Well, guess what? That fella is here also.
What's up?
Let's go down the line, introduce ourselves and what we do, and get this party started. Hi.
Hi. My name's Chris Balkum, and I am with North Texas Property Tax Services, and we are a full-service property tax consulting firm that appeals people's property taxes for them.
God, you're like a little angel sent from heaven. I bet everybody loves you. You're like the belle at the ball right now. You know that, right?
We're about to get busy.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Property taxes have already been sent out in the mail. For some.
For some. Denton County has already sent theirs out. Dallas and Collins should be sending them out this weekend.
Okay.
And we're not sure about Tarrant right now.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because Tarrant had some trouble. Did y'all hear what happened to Tarrant?
No.
Tell them real quick.
Yeah, Tarrant County the appraisal district got hit with a ransomware attack. And so their computers have been down for the past 3 weeks now. You can't email them. You can't call them.
You can cuss them. That's about it.
It's interesting, and it happened at the worst time. So they have a new chief appraiser. Things seem to be on track and going pretty well, and this is gonna hurt.
Hopefully that accident just subtracts $100,000 from everyone's value.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Did the Asian ninja have something to do with this?
Yeah, probably
No,
so.
I was going to ask you, is it going to be better or worse than last year, the property tax in Tarrant County?
In Tarrant County, we don't really know what to expect. With the new chief appraiser, they seem to be more transparent right now.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to be trying to do the right things. So we're hopeful that it'll go pretty smooth.
Speaking of smooth, let's introduce who you are and who you're with.
Okay, I'm Edward. I am with AMX Realty, and I am in the real estate profession full-time, and I'm a part-time physician.
So all around, he's just a great connection to have.
Thank you.
And speaking of being connected,
Hello.
Check out this lender here on the end.
Hi there. I am your favorite mortgage broker, Mike Youngin with Red Zone Mortgage Group, and I have so many questions for you, Chris. So many questions. I mean, so we have a lot of people out there shopping. We have a lot of people that have closed on their homes recently, and there's been new tax laws that have come into effect in regards to homestead exemptions, and also there's a common belief out there that property taxes in general have seen some relief as of the end of last year. So if you could shed some light on that, because I've literally have clients on the fence not wanting to pull the trigger because of property taxes that they're seeing, and there might be some relief around the corner, there might not be. So
Right. So last November on the general ballot, the voters of Texas did vote in a pretty big property tax relief bill. What that bill did, it raised the homestead exemption. The homestead exemption previously was set at $40,000. So this new bill raised the homestead exemption to $100,000, and then it also, with some of the budget surplus from the state of Texas, they bought down the ISD tax rates. And so last year, it was interesting timing on it because everybody thought it would pass. They were pretty sure it was going to pass, and so they sent tax bills out with the extra homestead exemption and with the lowered ISD tax rate. If it didn't pass, they were going to have to reissue all the bills and recalculate them. So that would have been
a nightmare.
Would have not been fun. But it did pass. So you have an extra exemption on your homestead. You have a lower ISD tax rate, and it ended up saving the average homeowner roughly $1,300 last year.
Right.
So it was great.
Wonderful.
And is that $100,000, is that off of each entity or?
No. So the only, when you're talking about a homestead exemption, the only jurisdiction that it covers in the state law is the ISD.
Okay.
Now, the local jurisdictions, when you get into your county, your city, community college, hospital districts, all of those, the other jurisdictions can elect to give you a homestead exemption or give you a benefit for your homestead, but the only state mandated homestead exemption is for the ISD.
Okay. And so isn't Texas a right to disclose state in regards to what you buy and sell your property for?
It is a non-disclosure
Non-disclosure,
state. Yes.
okay, sorry.
It's a non-disclosure state, so you do not have to relay the information about purchase price or anything to any government agency.
Okay.
It's none of your business.
But so if I'm buying, I'm shopping for houses right now, and I see that, my lender sends me an estimated monthly payment, and he sends me the tax bill from last year, and it was valued at $450,000. Mm-hmm. And what my clients are seeing are, if they close on their house, maybe they bought it for $650,000, and they're not, we're preaching the same thing you just told them. You're not going to be taking that CD, you're not going to be taking that HUD to the county. So, just mum's the word. But then all of a sudden, their property tax bill comes and it's the exact sales price that they bought it for. So what's going on?
They do get information from a multiple listing service.
Cheaters.
It's a little bit hush-hush, but they're technically not supposed to, but they do get sales information. The non-disclosure issue really affects commercial properties more than residential. The appraisal district will generally get residential sales information. They do not get a lot of commercial sales.
Okay. Man. What's easier for you to fight? Commercial, investment, residential, or appeal? What all do you help out with?
We do all of it. We do commercial and residential. Our focus has mainly been high-end residential over the past. We've been in business for 20 years now.
Nice.
So we've kind of, our little niche is more high-end residential, but we do handle all types of appeals.
Okay.
And they cover 4 counties, so they're able to hone in and be more fine-tuned and efficient and effective, because they don't just go all over the place. They do Grayson, Collin, Tarrant.
No.
Denton. Damn it. Okay, Collin.
Harris.
Damn it. Is
Lubbock.
it Harris?
No. Just the 4 bigger counties here. So we do Dallas, Collin, Denton, and Tarrant.
Okay. See, I took Dallas out of my brain because I hate Dallas County. You heard me. You know why.
Grayson County. You have to know where my parents live in Van Austin.
Oh. Well, I mean, I like that better than I like Dallas. I've gone round and round with Dallas County over a few items with my clients personally.
Okay.
So.
Now, I do have a question for you. I have clients come to me this time of the year usually. It's like, hey, I filed the exemptions already. What else can they do for the property tax to lower it?
The easiest way is, make sure that you get any exemptions that you're qualified for. That's
assuming
step
it's all
number one, right?
taken care of.
And then it's just appealing the value and really getting to understand how the values are calculated and where they come from, and then you can be a little bit more effective on ways to mitigate some of the increases that you may see year over year. For example, if you need to find out what condition code the appraisal district has on your home. So if they're carrying your home in very good or excellent condition, and you have some photos showing some deferred maintenance, showing some problem areas in your house.
Inside the house, right?
Yes, inside the house.
Okay.
Now, a lot of what homeowners will bring in are pictures of fences and cracks in the driveway. Those, in an appraisal model, in a mass appraisal model, those don't affect the model as much as people might think. So you really do want to concentrate your photos or in all of your information to the main structure of the house and any issues you have there. How it affects the mass appraisal model is by giving you an additional depreciation in that calculation that they're running. So if you can get that condition down, then those are savings you'll see year over year. Okay. Because you'll keep that same a little bit lower depreciation and get to ride that out.
Is that condition code? Are you made aware of your condition code when they send you your estimated property tax?
No.
No, it's not on your notice, and it really depends on the county. So Some counties will put that information on their website where you can review it. Some of them don't have as much information. So it's really just about first check the website, look through all the information on the improvement segment of any property and see what's listed in the county. You can also request what's called a property card. It's their appraisal record card. And you do have a right to get that for your property at any point. And that will have all the information on it as far as depreciation, any other characteristics that they have set up on it.
Now, when he talks about the property, just what did you say? Property. What was the right word?
Property card.
No, the grading.
Oh, the condition code rating?
The condition code rating. So it's my understanding from the class that I was able to attend where they educated me thoroughly and really just took my knowledge level up through the roof on a lot of this information. It's very hard to read, and it's ever changing. Is that correct? It's very hard to interpret.
Sometimes it can be. There's a lot more that goes into a mass appraisal model than you're going to get on any website. The formula that they use to calculate values in the model is a fairly complicated formula. It's got a lot of variables, and the variables in that formula are the characteristics. Not all appraisal districts have them set up the same. It depends on
Great.
It depends on what system they use. A lot of appraisal districts use an outside vendor to handle their models and
Like an
their
appraiser?
computer system. No, it's more of the computer software
Understood.
that calculates it. So Dallas and Tarrant have their own, and
Okay.
they have built their own systems internally. Collin and Denton use an outside vendor, and so the formulas are different. How it's set up is a little bit different.
Are you familiar with all of their software?
Yes.
And do you utilize that in any way whenever you're helping your clients?
We do. So we actually are very specialized in the 4 counties. That's why we only work in the 4 counties, the 4 bigger counties in the Metroplex. Our system essentially recreates their entire mass appraisal system in our office. So we have access to all of the characteristics and stuff that goes into it.
So when you go to help contest for your clients' property taxes, you're showing them information in the way that they present information. So it's probably easier for them to ingest.
Right, we do that. We model our systems to kind of look very similar to the appraisal districts, and that way when we're in front of the appraisal review board, it's laid out in a format that they're used to seeing. When you go into a hearing and you're in front of a 3-member panel called the appraisal review board, you have to realize, they look at the appraisal district's information all day, every day. So they are very familiar with how the appraisal district presents their information, with the terminology that the appraisal district uses, which isn't really commonplace outside of this process. You get to issues. One of the main issues is in any mass appraisal system, you have to set up a classification system. And the classification system is pretty subjective. Classes can vary from neighborhood to neighborhood. Counties use completely different classification systems. But when a homeowner goes in, a lot of times what will end up happening, they'll bring in a few sales, and those sales, the appraisal district may have those comparables that someone's bringing in classified differently than their house. And that's fine to use those as comparables, but if you're not aware of the difference in how the appraisal district is classifying those, then it puts you at a disadvantage, because then they start presenting their information to the appraisal review board, they being the appraisal district, and you say, well, we have this as a class 9 and you're a class 10, so we're going to add an additional adjustment for that difference in class, where in your mind you're looking at that home saying, well, that home looks almost identical to mine, so what's the difference?
Yeah.
But the appraisal review boards are used to that, and they're comfortable with those. So it can be an uphill battle.
It sounds like you're pretty savvy with it. I've got to ask you, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what's your success rate? Like, are you able to chew these guys down? Are you really able to help people lower their property taxes? Hand me one of those papers.
Sure. Which one?
Don't give me one too.
Yeah, let's look at this together.
Let's share with the class, please.
Did you bring enough for everybody?
I
North
did.
Texas
Each one of these is for
Tax
is for the 4 counties, so they're all a little bit different in what
readers.
we have. But our overall success rate, it really depends on the county. Last year in Denton County, our success rate was well over 90% as far as
What?
yeah.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
It's and it's just how we process the information and what we're able to present.
His success rate in Denton County for contesting property tax is over 90%. Let me just repeat that in case anybody did not hear that. 90% success rate contesting property taxes in Denton County. That dude.
Dallas
Okay.
Cowboys wish they had that win, right?
I'm gonna put you on my speed dial on my phone.
Great.
Burn.
Now,
I brought him on the show for a reason.
Denton's our highest. Our lowest is going to be Dallas as far as just the number in 1 year, and that's
knew it.
because it's not a bad thing really. And what Dallas County does, Dallas doesn't reappraise every neighborhood every year.
Oh.
So we may go in 1 year, get a reduction on a property, and then that value stays
Oh, I
for the
see.
next year.
Okay.
And then oftentimes you look at it and you go, well, maybe the market's come up a little bit or done something, and there's really not a whole lot to do in a protest for a property that didn't change values.
I've lived in Dallas County my whole life, and I've noticed that trend where, like, 1 year just nothing happens. I'm just like, I'm not going to say anything.
Right.
Don't breathe
Don't
anything.
move.
Yeah.
And so the success rate, when we look at the entire population of properties we represent, it's going to be a little bit lower because of that.
Okay.
We've seen Denton County start to do that this year. If you had a reduction at the appraisal review board level last year in 2023, we have seen a big portion of Denton counties that they left alone. And so they did not reappraise those properties that got a reduction last year. But that's a good thing, because then it's just additional savings for that next year that wouldn't have been on there had you not appealed it.
And I'm sitting here looking at your numbers, and this is a sample of 2023 Dallas County reductions, and it looks like across the board, you're between 20 and 30% of savings for Dallas County.
That's
property reduction.
Right. I mean, those are our larger reductions. Our average reduction.
Trade you Dallas for Denton.
It's again, yeah. These are all specific to the different counties that we represent. Typically, though, you're looking at our average reduction is going to be, depending on the county, somewhere between 7 and 10% overall.
Well, that's impressive. I've contested my property taxes in the past, and it was Plano, Collin County. And the first time I went to bat, they shot me down and said no. And then I went back to bat again and tried to fight them. And I think I got it down like 2% or something like that. And I'm a realtor. I'm giving them comps. I'm taking pictures of things, not just the outside driveway. I'm going interior. Like I'm trying to do things helpful, and I still barely got that. So I'm quite impressed with your track record.
Collin County is certainly one of the harder counties to work with, as far as they're pretty proud of their information, and they try to defend their numbers.
Yeah.
Grayson County. Oh my gosh, Grayson County is the good old boys club over there.
Yeehaw.
So, are there physical appraisers going around in vehicles, driving around, doing drive-by inspections?
There's gotta be, right?
Or are you able to just post up naked? Paint your house the wrong color. Light something on fire when they drive by. I don't know what's wrong with this piece of shit.
It's a meth lab.
Yeah. How?
They do drive the neighborhoods. They'll take notes if they notice any remodels going on. That they'll tend to pick those up when they're driving around.
Stupid neighbors.
Right,
Permits are red flags.
They do get copies, or they get the permit records from.
Just
the
don't
county.
permit people.
You can't say that.
I didn't say that.
We don't recommend that.
No.
I said that in class, and everybody just had a hoot with it. I was like, "Well, so we just don't permit?" All the realtors are like, "No, Missy." It was good.
You need a permit.
That's funny because that's what I said.
Yeah, they do drive around and take general notes, but again, it's the whole property tax process, the mass appraisal system. It's not an individual appraisal of your house. So they'll try to verify characteristics. Maybe they'll verify roof type, exterior wall type.
What about things
look
in
for
the
any
neighborhood?
signs of like
what if there's an apartment complex that just went up across the street from me? That's a bugaboo, right?
it can be.
It should be.
It's new development, though. Wouldn't that be seen as a plus, maybe?
No way, man. Residential. Nobody wants an apartment complex across the street from their, $600,000
Well, we don't,
house.
but the city would like that, wouldn't they? They're like, city wants more people to come in.
More apartments, more crime. Is that?
I mean,
Because,
I'm not.
people
giving
being
you-
congested in an area. Am I talking stuff I shouldn't be saying right now?
Well, it depends on how expensive the apartment is.
That's a very good point. That's a very good
Some of
point.
those are luxury one.
Right,
you know.
right, yeah.
Yeah, and any environmental factor like that or geographical factor does get taken into account in a mass appraisal system. It's more along the lines of they may put a discount on your land or put some type of economical depreciation over and above normally what you would get for those type of factors.
Anybody that's listening and just wants to know exactly what kind of exemption types you can get, I have a little write-up here. So you can do a homestead exemption. You can do a disabled individual exemption, an agricultural land exemption, a disabled veteran exemption, and then, of course, the over 65 exemption. Those are the exemptions that you can get here in the state of Texas. Homestead, disabled, agriculture and land, disabled veteran, and over 65. And so what we're able to really drive home and contest with this gentleman is the homestead. I just had a complete brain fart.
Can I have chickens in Dallas County and call an ag exemption, maybe?
No.
Oh.
You never let us
I
have any
live
fun.
I live by myself.
With chickens?
Well, no, no. With only one dog, is it consider? Probably not. I'm just joking with you.
Probably won't pass the application process.
And I think you have to. So, what do you know about agriculture exemptions? I mean, what do you know about the other stuff? Do you know anything?
I mean, I do. Not as extensive knowledge as the general process and that. But so to qualify for an agricultural exemption, you have to be in the business of agriculture. So you do have to be able to prove that it is an income source, and that is part of your livelihood. The ag exemptions get
Convoluted?
yeah, they do get a little bit convoluted.
Bees.
But generally, you can get it for that. I mean, if you are if you are creating a product and marketing that product, then it does qualify.
So you buy the land, you get an LLC, and then you start trying to make the business work, and then you're able to use that to file that agriculture exemption.
Right, and then what happens on an agricultural exemption, your taxes aren't based on the value of the property; they're based on the productivity value. And so you may have a piece of land, if you have 40 acres or so, or any type of acreage, and you get an agricultural exemption, even if that property is valued at $1 million, the productivity value is only going to be a few thousand. Mm-hmm. So the taxes are significantly less when you do have the agricultural exemption. One thing to be aware, though, is when you do have if you do have an ag exemption, if you ever change the use of the land to where it's not agricultural, and say a developer comes in and buys a farm or a ranch, and they develop it, once you change the use of that agricultural property, they go back and back assess the last 3 years of taxes.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, because you just triggered something good for me. So we have a farm in Valley of Mills. My family has a farm, and we do cattle, okay? And we've got about 100 acres, and the people this company came in and wanted to do solar panels out in the field. And so my mother leased a portion of the land to them for 30 years. So that's going to come into effect, because that's changing some of the land. I mean, it doesn't change our business. We're still doing cattle. We just carved off a piece of the land. I wonder if that's going to be affecting in some way.
I would have to look into that. But I believe, number one, solar, any solar panels or solar energy is exempt from taxation in Texas.
So it's just going to go down even more, is what you're telling me,
No,
potentially.
I think because you're leasing it and you're still making money off the land, then I think it still will qualify as part of the total ag property.
Okay, fine. But if I would have sold it, if I sold it, it's not our problem anymore.
Right.
Okay.
Now, ag exemptions can get in the way of lending. I'm sure you've seen that a couple times, where some lenders.
How?
Well, some banks do not like to have ag exemptions carry over from one buyer to the next. So if you're purchasing land and there's an ag exemption on it, or even if if you purchase the land and then you turned it into income producing agricultural, and you have an ag exemption, then you try to refinance that property. In some instances, the lender that you're working with will not be able to do it with that ag exemption,
Wow.
and that's something that is a real kick in the ass. And our bank, Red Zone Mortgage, we do not have that problem, but I can't tell you more times than not where we come in and save the day because such and such lender that they're trying to refinance or trying to purchase through can't go through with the deal and provide you that ag exemption because of the ag exemption. So we can do that, and that's something that's on like acreage over 10 acres or 300 or whatnot. It's just that's a problem in lending, and I don't know how many of y'all out there see that, but we don't have to deal with that over here. But like your bigger banks, your credit cards, your funny commercial banks, yeah, they're not a
Funny
big
commercial
fan.
banks.
Yeah.
Speaking of backdating and things like that, or having to go back. We're talking about something in the class the other day, and it kind of went over my head. It was, and I just wanted to retouch it so that I can learn a little bit more. You were talking about whenever somebody purchases a home, if the homestead, if the tax rate changed and they were able to get a break, then they passed the buck to someone else. Do you remember what am I trying to say? Help me.
There was a new law passed a couple of years ago, and so it's just now taking effect, and we're kind of getting the real world examples of how this is going to play out. But historically, what it was is you could not apply for a homestead exemption on a property unless you were in that home on January 1.
Okay.
So January 1 in the property tax world is the biggest date to remember. Your value is as of January 1. Historically, your exemptions are as of January 1. January 1 is the appraisal date. And so you would have to wait. Let's say you bought a house in June from a builder that didn't own it. Then you would have to wait until that next year, and you were in the house on January 1 to file for your homestead exemption. The new law that passed allows...
Listen, this is good.
The new law that passed allows for a partial or a prorated exemption for if you purchase a house that did not have a homestead exemption on it. So now what we've seen, and maybe the problem to this is, let's say the buyer comes in and buys a house on June 1st, and they did not have a homestead exemption on that home, so they file for that prorated homestead exemption so they can get it for the rest of the year and get a little bit of benefit.
Cool.
Get half the benefit. That's the great part. The problem we've seen is that the appraisal districts are treating those as a transfer, and so they're removing the homestead exemption from the old home. So whatever home that person sold, then they'll later have that exemption removed. And so we've had a couple of clients who, at the time of notice, they had the homestead exemption on from the previous owner that they purchased it from, but then when they got their tax bill, the tax bill was on the full value with no exemption because that homestead exemption got removed somewhere along the way because of that situation.
That's terrible.
Yes.
Homeowner.
Yes.
So can they just do the same thing and apply for a homestead and try to get it convey over? Or what if they don't? What if they were renters and then came into it? Then they just have to eat it up?
Yes, on the last part. On the first part, that's where we're seeing some issues, because then how far back does it go? Because then if that homeowner, then the person who bought the property and was surprised when they got their tax bill that the homestead exemption went away, if then they apply for a partial homestead exemption, and let's say they sold a house 2 weeks prior to them purchasing this house that they're in right now, then does it go off on now the second house?
And what if it's a new build? So let's say it's a new build, but it sat for January to June, and they bought it in June, and they applied for that prorated homestead exemption. Then does it kick back to the builder, and they have to eat that?
So what we do when someone's buying a new build is we take the sales price, and this is just like a common, it's not as common as you would think it is. Like with the big banks, the funny commercial banks, they don't do this. But what we do is we take the value of the house, the sales price, we multiply it by 80%, and then we multiply that product by the tax rate. And that is what we set up as your estimated property taxes, because we're assuming that you're going to be filing your homestead exemption. And usually up until, well, probably 3 or 4 years ago at least, there was a delta of about 20% between what the market value was and what the property, and what the county values your taxes at, or your property taxes at. I would say that's just kind of a blanket. So we've been setting people up on new build construction purchases that way.
Okay.
And so far, knock on wood, we haven't seen, we don't have a lot of people coming back saying, oh my God, this raised to this. But what your funny commercial banks, your Bank of America, your Chase, what they'll do, they don't have the wherewithal. The loan officer you're talking to is probably somewhere in a different state altogether. They're not familiar with the jurisdictions, and what they're doing is they're taking the new build construction, they're taking the sales price, multiplying it by 100%, and then multiplying by the tax rate. And so you have a large variance, and you're getting, you're getting kicked in the nuts or the private parts until your true tax bill comes out. So that's at least how we set up new construction on our end. But one of the scariest things that I've seen, this has probably happened to me 3 or 4 times now in my career, is when we have someone buying a homestead property, but they're purchasing it off of a 100% disabled veteran. And usually, like let's say you're buying in the middle of the year or something, you're going to get a tax proration back from the seller. But if there's no tax proration because they're not paying property taxes, thank you for your service, veterans. You do not have to pay property taxes if you're 100% disabled in the state of Texas. If you're not paying property taxes, then, if you're purchasing, what we're seeing escrow have to collect incorrectly. If you're purchasing in June, they're collecting Jan through June and putting that on you, the buyer. And if that's not ironed out between the realtors prior to contract, then it's an additional like $3-4 grand to the home buyer that they were not anticipating.
That's awful.
Yes, it is.
And a lot of times realtors don't like to iron, let me just be clear.
For sure.
Or they don't know they need to.
Just throw it in the dryer.
They just do the spray, sprinkle, release, and then
dry shampoo it, call it a day.
Speaking of calling it a day, I also wanted to talk about one of the new property codes that came into effect. I think it was just at the end of last year with the homestead exemption, stating that we are now subject to file for a homestead exemption potentially. It's the county's reviewing, and they do it every 5 years now. Is that? Help me. Listen to this.
That's ridiculous.
Listen to this. This is going to piss you off.
The appraisal district now has to periodically verify that you are still living in your home as your primary residence. It's not a reapplication process.
Okay.
But it is a verification process. So if you get the postcard in the mail from the appraisal district saying, do you still live here? Do you still claim it as your primary residence? Please send it back in.
Or you're going to be real sad.
There's going to be so many more scams that come out because so many people try to get you to pay to file for your homestead exemption.
Yeah. Or people are going to think that it's a scam and just toss it, and then they're going to lose that homestead exemption.
That's both of those are our biggest concerns with how this is going to play out. Because there is a real problem with companies that send what look like official documents and want to charge you $100 or something to file your homestead exemption when that's a completely free process.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing to filing for the homestead exemption. Appraisal districts don't like those companies.
I don't.
There have been some shady things with those in the past. So, we may see a lot more of that with the new verification.
Worse than O.J. Simpson.
Oh, my God. Everybody has a judgment day. Just saying. Speaking of days, I also wanted to give a shout out to a lovely realtor and an artist. She does like these You know, like the farmer's market situations that the wives are always trying to get you to go to that are so much fun. You know what I'm talking about?
Super
Yeah.
fun, yes.
Yeah, super, super.
So there's one this weekend. So if your wife's ever listening, and it's a little Barbie theme. They have like a Barbie and a Ken lookalike contest, and I'm gonna drop the flyer down. But I told her I'd throw it out for her today. But it's gonna be a lot of fun, and she does a lot of just really creative gifts that are perfect for maybe your closing. You know, like she does like these. What do you call it? I'm tired bear. It's the epoxy that you pour with the glitter and you swirl, and then you can make like, you know, trinkets and coasters and trays and all that stuff. She does that stuff, but she's real good at it. You put the flowers in it and the plastic. I don't know, but they're really pretty, you know, and your wives are gonna love them. So
Which farmers market we're going to be attending?
I knew you would ask me that.
You got Dallas, you got Trade Days 380. Let's see.
First off, it's called Barbie Market,
Barbie Market, all right.
and it's at Lakefront at Little Elm,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
on the lawn in front of Tin Man Social.
And when is it?
It is April 14th, 12 to 5. And it's a Barbie movie on the lawn at 1 p.m. And then there's a lookalike contest competition.
Have you seen the Barbie movie?
Uh-uh.
It is actually really good. You don't like it? Oh my gosh. How do I like the Barbie movie?
I'm shocked.
I didn't try
right now.
I didn't try
Who
to go.
are you as a
I didn't try to
person?
go see the Barbie movie on purpose. I have a little daughter, and we're trying to make sure she just like whatever. But it's pretty freaking good. It's not that bad, actually.
Not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Jurassic Park or anything.
I don't know. I felt like,
Okay.
I don't feel like they really came out with many good movies right now anyway.
Yeah,
it
that's
takes a
true.
lot to impress me. Life's been hard. You know, I'm kind of weathered and leathered and just wore out.
So you
like
want to see a movie like Gettysburg or something,
You
4
know,
hours long?
Personally, I love to dress like Barbie, but I enjoy more of the gangster movies. Like The Departed is one of my go-tos.
Okay.
You know, things of that genre. You know, we all like to watch the serial killer documentaries to, you know, relax as women now because y'all stress us out so much.
Is this an OJ referencing it? We're going to shoehorn him in there again?
Oh, Lord. I'm busy dropping the flyer right now. Leave me alone. Okay, so there we go. Okay, now we've got the Bobby. There's shrimp on the Bobby.
So is there a area, what areas of town do you know of that have lower jurisdictions, lower property tax rates that might be good places to live because they may not have an ISD, for instance, because they're so far out there or something of that nature?
Everybody has an ISD.
Okay.
I mean, every
You have to
how-
go to
yeah,
school.
right. So you are offered public education no matter where you live.
Oh, fine.
But there are places when you get out that you may not be in a city limits, and so you're not going to have a city jurisdiction.
Okay.
Denton County doesn't have a hospital jurisdiction, whereas Tarrant and Dallas, there is a jurisdiction for the hospital.
Shout outs to Parkland.
Yes. and so you are paying extra, you're paying for an additional jurisdiction for those. If the county doesn't have a publicly funded community college, then you're not going to have that jurisdiction. But most of the counties here have the community college that goes with them. It varies. I mean, they're different jurisdictions all over the Metroplex, and there's hundreds of them, all offer different homestead benefits. So, for example, if you're in Dallas County, then Dallas County, the community college, Parkland Hospital, and the city of Dallas, they all offer a 20% homestead exemption, which is great. I mean, the 20% homestead exemption is big.
Right.
Dallas ISD offers an additional 10% plus the state mandated $100,000.
Okay.
So you get into.
Do you have to apply for that, or is that just automatic?
No, it's once you have the homestead exemption, you get those for
Okay.
all jurisdictions. So it just depends on the jurisdictions that you're looking at. And on the appraisal, every appraisal district website has a really easy to read breakdown of what each jurisdiction offers for over 65. Some also offer an additional over 65 exemption. University Park, I think, is the biggest,
I've got so many tickets in University Park. Oh my gosh.
But University Park, for over 65, they give you a $502,000 exemption. So
Wow. Well, the
that
properties
really helps.
are very high valued in University Park too. But yeah.
Speaking of high value and increasing with the market value, there's a cap on how high they can put that property tax. What is that?
Right, so that rides with your homestead exemption. And so in Texas, on a property that has a homestead exemption, your taxable value or your assessed value can only increase by 10% per year. So 1 year you're valued at $500,000. The next year, if the appraisal district moves your market value to $600,000, you'll have that limitation value, or most people call it a cap value. You'll have a cap value at $550,000, and so that's what will be the starting point for the calculation of your taxes. Now, the only value you can appeal is the overall market value. You can't appeal the cap value.
Okay. Okay.
So you're working if you're going to file a protest, you have to realize the protest is on that 600 value, not the 550 limited value.
My 14-year-old would say that's cap. You're capping. But speaking of, you
Cap?
actually, speaking of capping, you have the cap at 10%, but if you've done improvements to your home, that affects it too. How does that work?
Correct. So it's the value can go up 10% per year plus any additional improvements made.
No.
So let's
say it one more time.
say your value can go up 10% per year plus any additional improvements made to the property.
So if I put a pool in the backyard and
Correct.
it was capped at 10, you can still do more because of the pool.
So we'll use that same example. If your value goes from 500 to 600, you would normally be
indoor
capped at
pool.
550, but then let's say they're going to put $25,000 on as the pool value. Well, that extra contributory value goes on top of the 10%. So then your cap value would be 575, and your market value is still sitting at 600.
No, that's cap.
Indoor pool. Indoor pool.
Indoor pool.
What I'm seeing, sometimes it's as of late, like especially in Denton and Collin County, we're seeing finally mud taxes and PID taxes showing up on the website, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they're not there. Why?
Right. Why?
Why are they being so elusive?
There are a lot. Any of the improvement districts, they may be collected by the assessor, but they're not really part of the property tax system.
Can we rewind it a little bit
Sure.
and just explain it like we're 5 to what improvement taxes
For me.
are?
So there are, whether you're in there's a lot of different kinds. There's utility districts, which may cover, water and wastewater and that type of stuff. There's improvement districts, like if you live in downtown Dallas where they built Clyde Warren Park, part of how they paid for that was creating an improvement district to where it is an additional tax that's not really part of the property tax system, but it is collected by the Dallas County tax assessor. And so you're taxed based on your value set by the appraisal district, but it's not technically part of the property tax process. And so because it's not part of that property tax process, the appraisal districts aren't worried about it. It's not it's not under their jurisdiction at all for what they do. It's just an improvement district that rides on the value that the appraisal districts are setting. So most of the time, those won't show up when you're talking to the appraisal district.
Okay. But if you are in an HOA, like an example that I give is to clients buying new build construction is that they're going to see maybe they pull their property taxes and they're not aware that there's a mud tax. Mm-hmm. And so what I'll tell them is that, okay, the closer you are to, and forgive me, I just live in Dallas, so I'm familiar with it, but the dirt in Dallas is dark brown, dark black. And so the further away that you move from the better dirt, they're having, you're getting your more red dirt and your orange dirt, and it's not really good to build in that or do construction on that. So they import dirt from other areas, and for that reason, you're paying a mud tax. Am I just completely out of bounds for saying that, or?
They're all
Yes.
set up differently. I mean, there's a lot of them, and they're all for a little bit different purposes. So it's hard to say that. It's hard to just say generally this is what happens with all of them.
Okay. But yeah, they'll stick you, especially if you're in an HOA, because then you have that mud tax, and then you're going to have the HOA on top of that. Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Speaking of taxing, it can be very difficult just going through the home buying process as is. And that's why if you are somebody out there that's considering jumping from a rental to a purchase, you may want to seek counsel on it. I just wanted to touch on this really fast. I know we're diving deep into property taxes, but I want to talk to you about the home buying process for somebody who maybe is renting and is looking at buying a home. Can you give them any advice or tell them maybe what the first step should be in a situation like that?
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
You're the expert.
Well, call me, of course, first of all. Well, I primarily do apartment locating, and for luxury part, that's what I do. For leasing and buying houses, it varies from person to person. First steps I would tell you to do is to go get a pre-approval, because those things good for 30 days.
Right there.
So at
90 days with me.
9 days with you. Okay, good. 9 days. So once you get that, you have an idea what is your budget, what kind of house you can get, and we can kind of shop from there. Because if you come to me and say, I'm just want to look, you don't even know what neighborhood, you don't even know what the budget is, it's very, very difficult to help you to find a house. So first thing is to call him to get a pre-approval and to go from there.
A lot of people that are relocating to the area, it really does behoove them to jump into a lease first so they can get acclimated and see if the area that they're currently in is actually where they want to purchase. And that's a real good reason to lease.
Yeah, actually, I myself, especially for younger, couples, try to lease first. See if you even like the neighborhood before
Smart.
you jump into it. Because owning a house is not just about house payment. A lot of upkeep. All the light bulbs on you.
And that homestead exemption can be a booger.
Exactly. And for some of you, like me, doesn't like do any house stuff. Getting an apartment, renting it. For apartment, there's a lot of nice apartments out there. Luxury. I mean, it's just like a small city, especially the new one nowadays.
Do you have any favorites? I'd like to know, like, if I was looking for a lease and I didn't care where I went, I just wanted the nicest one that you know of, where would you send me right now?
Frisco and McKinney's. Those are the best ones. A lot of new one out there, and what I call those luxury kind. I mean, you're in there, there's small cafes, some of them even have a convenience store inside the complex, gym, you don't even pay 24 hours.
You don't have to leave.
You don't have to leave, you don't. I mean, especially for those people that work from home, perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, that is nice. That sounds, I think Austin Ranch had a whole little setup, right?
Yes, they
They've
do.
got something
They do.
over there
I
that's
was
Austin
kicked out
Ranch.
of Austin Ranch so many times
I'm
growing
not
up.
surprised.
Oh my gosh. In regards to the pre-approval process, I mean, the way that we try to simplify it for people is it's a two-step process. Step one, you fill out a quick application, you and your partner. It takes 5 to 10 minutes online. It's free. And step two, you send in your income docs, like your pay stubs, W-2s, or if you're self-employed, your tax returns. And my team and I, we calculate your buying power and we educate you on the loan programs that you qualify for. We educate you on whether you qualify for any first-time home buyer down payment assistance, and also if we have any opportunities to eliminate mortgage insurance without having to put 20% down. A lot of people think that across the board, how do you eliminate mortgage insurance? Or a lot of people just generally think you need to put 20% down to buy a house.
Yeah, it's true.
Just
Now, one of my friends, a lender, he shared some information with me like a few days ago. How?
Yeah.
About that grant, $10,000 for first-time home buyers. Can you tell me more about it?
Yeah, so it is there's 3 types of grants that the state of Texas has right now, and then there's a nationwide grant that we're also signed up for. The nationwide grant does not have any income cap, so that's nice.
Wonderful.
But right now there are grants, and it does kind of vary lender from lender because some lenders have in-house grants. So if your lender is with escaped me, but I want to say is it Benchmark, or who's your lender that you're referring to? Well, regardless,
Red Zone.
Yeah.
I think it's H2 lender, if I remember correctly.
So there are grants.
Yeah.
H2 lender.
Okay, so there are grants and there are second lien programs out there, and so basically, the gist of it is you need to have above a 620 credit score, and you need to make below a certain income cap.
What is that?
It depends. That's county. That varies per county. So,
Oh,
but that's
them counties
you know,
like to be
You know
capping.
the range?
so like in Dallas, for instance, I believe it's 127,
Okay.
but below 127. But it will also increase with the size of the family that you have.
Okay.
So that now the grants, of course, you do not have to pay back. The second liens, they do have a recapture, so they can be forgivable if you do not refinance or sell the property after 3 or 5 years. Usually these grants and these second lien programs will come with a higher interest rate. So, you might be getting 5% down to help out with your payment, with your down payment. But it doesn't matter if you have like a 620 credit score or an 850. Everyone that is utilizing the assistance in some of these programs that we're talking about will be getting the same rate. So there's no scoreboarding anybody. If you have an 850 and you're still using the grant, you're going to be getting the same interest rate as the person that's getting the 620 credit score. So,
Do you remember the client that we just landed together in Valley Mills, the one who was trying to buy my land listing,
Yes.
and we ended up she's not able to do that, but she's going to be able to get in a house. Does she
Right.
qualify for that?
So we are getting her on the road to qualify for that. So one of the things that we can do is when we pull your credit, if we see any opportunity to get you into a higher threshold, hypothetically speaking, let's say you're below 600, but with our background, we've been doing it for 22 years now, I've been doing it for 22 years. Our team has been doing it for collectively 75 now. We will look at your credit report and we'll tell you, okay, we have opportunities here, so maybe we can help you, not help you, but maybe we can guide you to negotiating a settlement or getting a deletion off of a medical record off of your credit, or maybe if we can open up a new trade line like a Capital One credit card for a $300 balance and you have it for 2 months, that's going to get you from that 593 to a 636 or something of that nature. And then so in 2 months time, we're able to, or less or more, but usually it's about 2 months time, we can help you propel you to that level of down payment assistance, so we can get you into
God,
there.
that's cool.
So if you have, maybe you only have $2,000 or $3,000 saved up, well, that down payment assistance is going to get you a good, maybe up to $12,000, $13,000 depending on your sales price of your house. And so now you have extra money to, furnish your home.
Gosh, that's wonderful.
Stuff like
and
that.
extremely helpful. Speaking of homes, a home is a big responsibility, and that's why a lot of people choose to jump into a lease. But if you are a home buyer and you want to have a peace of mind, I just have to let you know that Super Home Warranty can assist you and give you that peace of mind. They offer a variety of plans and can cover everything from your HVAC unit to, they cover just about everything but the roof, y'all. And we've got a 94% rate. Speaking of numbers, we cover up to 94% of our claims. And from the time you call in and make a claim to the time we have it scheduled for somebody to come out is 8 minutes. That's our record timing. So we like to keep numbers. We're a tech-driven company, and we really focus on, trying to build a better program for the clients and the realtor's clients so that they're happier.
What if your ex-husband is a Heisman winner? Mm-hmm. And I think you know where I'm going with this.
Oh my God.
Does Super cover that sort of instance where maybe there's an instance or probably not?
No, but I know some of the reps have been known to get kind of involved more than they should as far as being helpful. So, I've got that farm out there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
But then you have to take into other accounts of things that can affect your home value and things like that. And if you're out there and you're looking to buy a home and you're about to put an offer in, it's a really good idea to get a clue report and see if if that's going to be something that's ugly or going to affect your loan. Sometimes those roofs are really crummy and things like that. So I always recommend going to Goosehead and getting a
Gooseheadnow.com.
Gooseheadnow.com.
Goosehead Now. If you're wondering what the heck is this insurance going to look like, you can go and I think it's just
Gooseheadnow.com.
technology based. So you put in the address, you put in a little bit of information about yourself. You're not doing a credit pull, and it's not doing a credit pull, and you're getting a quote that's specific to that house in seconds, right?
Or a lot of you realtors like me, we'll connect you in a text message with our preferred Goosehead agent, and they will run that clue report and have that back for you, so we know how to move forward with purchasing that house. So that's also somebody just really handy. It's important that whenever you're looking to buy or rent, that you are working with a team of people that can help guide you through the process. Like us.
Yeah.
And if you are a homeowner and you are head in hand, seriously stressed out about what to do with this property tax because you just got it in the mail, or maybe you're anticipating getting it in the mail because it should be next week if you haven't already got it, I highly recommend you reach out to this gentleman right here. I'm going to put his information down below and the link as well on our Facebook channel. But there's no reason not to try to save money, and from my understanding, he's worth every penny. So I highly encourage, and all my clients,
especially in Denton County. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
God, 90%. Ooh, what? It's very, very impressive. So, if somebody wants to reach out to you, how do you recommend they find you?
Sure. You can go to our website. It's terrible numbers to say or terrible letters to say, but our website is ntpts.com, so North Texas Property Tax Services. From our website, you can sign up without even talking. We have all the information. You can text us 24/7 through our website. All of our contact information is on there. Real easy sign up. You can sign up in about 3 minutes or so.
Yes.
So it's a real simple process.
So just right here, this
Yes.
address.
And I just dropped that website on our Facebook channel, so you can go there to find more information. And I would jump in while you can, because he's about to get real busy. So now, what can you do about my personal taxes? Because I've got to follow those today. Can you do that
I
for
don't
me?
know anything
Yeah,
about
you're gonna file an extension on that. Yeah.
No, I'm doing it. Today's tax day. After this, I'm going home. I'm going to cry a little bit, drink another cup of coffee, and then I'm going to do it.
All right.
It's tax day. It's tax day for me, because you got to do it. You know it.
I've got some breaking news for you. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be here next Friday.
You're not?
No.
Why
I'm
not? Where are you going to be? What will we do?
My wife, for the celebration of my 39th birthday, is taking the family to Arkansas. And we're going to go hiking.
What?
Wonderful.
That's so.
And I don't know much about anything because it's a secret. So that's all I know.
Oh my gosh, this is so. I hope there's a bear.
I hope there's not a bear. I'm kind of a bear. I mean, I'm pretty hairy, but I mean, I'm not that type of bear. Put that out there. Well, I mean, not anymore, but whatever.
I can barely handle this conversation any longer. No, but happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. 39. That's exciting. I'm sure that what you really want for your birthday is just some more deals. So if you're out there and you're considering buying a home, get pre-approved with him, because that's what he wants for his birthday.
Yes, please. Red Zone Mortgage.
He has no boundaries. He doesn't know how to not work.
www.redzonemtg.com.
He works all the time. He'll be working on his hike. I guarantee you. Just send him some information. He'll get you set up.
My wife will kill me, but
He
my
has a
team
team.
will help you out. I promise you that. Shout outs to Aria, Blake, Carly. Thank you.
They're spectacular and wonderful, and they're here to help you with getting pre-approved for your next home.
Tara.
Got it, guys? Jesus. He takes the wheel from me all the time. Speaking of taking the wheel, I've got to get those taxes done so that I can go bake a cake, because it's my 2-year-old's birthday on Monday, and we're going to celebrate Sunday in Waco.
Heck yeah.
He's going to be 2.
Nice.
He's my baby, and he's the best age. And when I'm doing the taxes and I'm getting sad because I'm seeing all the money going out, I'll just go give him a hug and I'll feel better, They're magical creatures. But they're also kind of like little drunks, you know what I'm saying? Because they stumble. They're hilarious. Yeah.
Hit their head on corners, all the corners.
All the corners.
Jeez.
My heart's just in constant da-da-da-da-da all the time. And then it's like, oh, and then it's da-da-da-da-da. Kind of like real estate. It worked out. Guys, all right. I'm going to go ahead and close us out. Y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for spending your Friday mornings with us. We're so grateful. And I wish everybody out there a fantastic weekend. And
Masters.
And Masters.
Oh, yeah. Let's
Masters
go for Tiger. Come on, Tiger. Get it.
Grr. We're rooting for you, Tiger. Go get him, Tiger.
Red Zone Mortgage.
All right. We'll see you guys on the next show.
Get in the zone. Get in the zone.